everyone, this is Tim, and today I'm going to do a little recap of a game that I'm playing in at my gaming club in Pittsburgh, and it's called Mouse World. Now, it's basically taking the setting of Mouse Guard and using the Dungeon World rules, and the GM has sort of hacked it and added in some things from the setting and so forth into some of the options and some of the rules that you make and some of the things you get at additional levels. But we're basically playing anthropomorphic mice, so think, again, like Mouse World or Secret of Nim, the Redwall series, things like that. So it's sort of his loose take on the Mouse World setting with, some of his own things thrown in. And there's also a lot of room for the players to, say how certain cities are run and, the NPCs that are there. So it has a little bit of that, like, story game sort of take on things with more narrative control for the players. But yes, it also has some of those traditional, trappings and, things like that. So it's kind of a cool little mix of things. One of the, I don't know if they're called classes, I can't remember, but one of the classes that he came up with is called Tenderpaw. And a Tenderpaw is basically someone who hasn't really picked a role within the Mouse Guard. It's sort of like this military organization that goes from city to city, delivers mail, keeps tabs on the scent border, which is like this. They put these strong scents down to keep out the larger predators, like I believe foxes and wolves and bears, things like that. But the smaller predators, like raccoons and things like that, I believe can cross through it without any problem. So the GM had this nice map that was laid out in the center of the table. It looked like he had made it from scratch, from hand. It had all the cities on it and where the scent borders were, and some various locations that were of importance. Like the main city of Lockhaven is sort of the hub of the Mouse Guard. It's where you train and learn, and that's where you return from your missions. So the campaign has a definite mission-based sort of setup to it. So it has a little bit more linearity than, say, like a normal campaign. But I think I talked about this in previous videos where I kind of wanted to run a campaign like this where it wasn't as sandboxy, but there's still a lot of room within the cities to do whatever you want, and especially like along the way. But so I'm having fun playing this. We played one session so far, and I decided I'm going to try to do some recaps of these, just to sort of give myself something to do and sort of help out the GM a little bit. I don't know about you, but when I'm a player, maybe it's because I'm normally a GM, but I feel this need to keep up on things or keep myself busy when it's not my turn. So what I tend to do is I take notes and just keep track of what's happening in the campaign. And I've found that because I do this, it's easier to do recaps than, say, like when I'm running a game where a lot of my energy is devoted to actually running the game and not necessarily keeping track of what happened and what was said. So it's a little bit easier when I'm a player. That's probably why I do these recap videos when I am a player. But I just want to start off with some of the characters. So Gurney is the soldier. He hasn't really, he's not like a grizzled veteran, but he's seen his fair share of combat. He's fought weasels, which are the only other intelligent anthropomorphic sort of species that you can interact with. The rest of the animals, like bears and foxes and rabbits and things, they're all pretty much like animals. But these two races, the weasels and the mice, they have a lot of intelligence to them, and they do things that like humans would normally do. So anyway, Gurney, he's seen some things. He's been around a little bit. He has some military experience. So my character, who is a new recruit, looks up to him, even though he doesn't have that much more experience than I do. But it's fun to have a sort of role model in the group. Then there's Margaret. She's the scout, so think like ranger. She's really terrified of owls. And other than that, I didn't get a lot from her. She was also sitting really far across the table from me, and there was a lot of background noise, so I had a hard time hearing some of the specifics of her character. But she had done some fun things during the course of the session, some risky kind of go out by herself kind of things, which is pretty impressive for a mouse in a very dangerous world. So and she seems like a very brave character, brave/risky. Then there's Strawberry. She's a scientist, and she was given her cloak. That's the cloak of the Mouse Guard. Basically shows that you belong. And she was given that by her mother. So there's a lot of rumors about her being pushed through the ranks, kind of on the fast track, as it were, because of her family connections. So that's a little bit of baggage that she carries. Her dad was murdered, so there's a possibility of investigating that and having that come up in the campaign at some point. Then there's Finn. He is the patrol leader. So, he's not really barking orders at us, but he's telling us what to do and trying to coordinate our abilities and get us to work together. And he's the player that's playing this character he does a really good job at it. He has a good overall picture of things, and he also has a lot of knowledge about stuff. So he has lots of lore. He's also a bit too young. He's inexperienced and stubborn. So think a little bit about like the Aliens movie, where I can't even remember his name, but the guy who's put in charge on this mission, not the one that's from the corporation, but the military, leader in quotes. That's kind of what this guy reminds me of, which is pretty cool to see like an inexperienced leader and some of the problems that come about because of that. But he supposedly fought some pirates and got some notoriety for that, so that was the reason that he has become this leader. And we all seem like we're getting along for the most part, though Gurney, who's the soldier, seems to have a little bit of problem with the leadership and how he does things, maybe. And it's always kind of cool to see a little bit of conflict in there between characters. Not necessarily like Star Trek: The Next Generation, where everyone's happy-go-lucky the whole time, but I like a little bit of conflict in there. So I'm looking forward to see how that works. And my character is sort of, looks up to everyone, but, even though I look up to Gurney, I'm starting to look up more to Finn, just because of some of the choices that were made. Alright. So my character is named Loonis, and like I said, he's a new recruit. He looks up to those who work hard. He has a mother and a father. The father's been in the Mouse Guard for a long time. He's away from home a lot. And the mother's a laborer, so she does a lot of hard work. And she has a friend, in quotes, who's also a laborer. And he's a guy. So what I kind of threw out there in the course of character generation was that my real father is most likely this other laborer, because my father's gone all the time. And, there's some rumors about that, perhaps. And I also have a twin sister. Well, my hair coloring is red, just like the laborer character, the NPC. And my twin sister's hair is dark black, which is like my father's. So, out of character, we were saying, well, maybe there was like multiple eggs that were released, and they were fertilized by different fathers. So that was something that we threw out there. But my character is just very enthusiastic. He's excited about going on his first mission. He sort of like rambled at the mouth kind of quickly, and I was having fun sort of finding that character, just discovering who they were during the course of play. The mission that we were given was to go to Redberry, which is this place that harvests berries, does wine, sells berries just by the bushel. And we were supposed to find out why the bear had attacked and crossed the scent border, which normally, bears can't cross. People of Redberry don't usually like the Mouse Guard because we only tend to come when very major things are happening, and they expect us to be there a lot. They also seem to not be very independent. They need the help of others, and they kind of expect it. And they can't really take care of themselves. Most of them are farmers, and there's no real military presence there, no wall around their city. So it's kind of a small little settlement, sort of like on the borders between the, I don't know if you would call it kingdom, but territory of the mice and the territory of the weasels. And, my character had learned from his mentor, which is probably his father, that laborer mouse. And, he basically heard, as this mentor was working in Redberry years ago, he saw some weasel talking to the mayor and talking to maybe somebody else, but that came out during the course of the game. So we showed up, and, we were talking, and one of the other characters had basically told us that last year they had said that there was a bear there as well. And when they, investigated it, it proved that there really wasn't one. They found like a tuft of hair, and it just wasn't clear cut if there was actually a bear or not. It kind of looked a little bit fishy. And our patrol leader Finn had talked to that other patrol leader that had gone out last year, and he had a very low opinion of those who lived in this town of Redberry. said that they like whine and cry wolf a lot. When we arrived in Redberry, we stopped and saw Gurney's uncle, who lived there and had a little farm of his own. And he also had a very sort of disgruntled first reaction to us until he saw his nephew show up. So we sort of helped him out because there was a frost the night before, and some of the berries had been damaged, and they had covered them all, so they needed some help. There's a lot of calls out that the watch shows up now, the bear is gone, and they show up after we did all the work, uncovering all the frosted berries. So yeah, it was sort of a awkward situation to walk in as a small group, when everyone around us didn't really want us there, thought we should have been there earlier. Oh, it's about time you showed up, that sort of thing. But it was also kind of fun because we got to sort of be overly polite to them and kind of be kind to be cruel, I guess, in a way. So we helped them out. And then Finn, Strawberry, and Margaret went to talk to the mayor. And he was a typical politician. Weren't really sure if he was being straight with us or not, and I started hinting to Gurney about his involvement with the weasels. At least that's the rumor that I had heard from my uncle. He was very he didn't really like us there either. He was it's time for you to go. Do your thing. Yeah, you're too late. The bear's already gone and done its damage. Thanks for nothing. That sort of thing. We learned that there was a powerful trading family that was in the area that really ruled the town. The mayor was sort of a puppet mayor, puppet politician. And then we also learned that another family in particular was hit really hard by the bear attack. Their entire crop was wiped out. And we also learned that their sons had ran out and told everyone in the local area to go into their house and batten down the hatches. We investigated the family that had lost most of their crop and had warned their others, the other families, because it seemed a little bit suspicious. And when we arrived, a lot of the sons of the woman that was the mother of the family were gone. The father was gone. They had left like 2 days ago. And we asked the local farms around them, and they hadn't gone there for work, which was the excuse for why they were gone. So there were some red flags that were popping up. We also saw this sort of circle with a pie part cut out with like 1/4 of the circle. There was like a mark on the side of their house, and it kind of seemed like some sort of like sharing sort of thing, or maybe we took some of your crop, or we really weren't sure exactly what it meant. But my character was starting to think the weasels are involved, and he started to talk about weasels a lot when he was around other mice, not really thinking about the possibility of rumors being started. And I think Gurney's head was, his vein was starting to pop out of his head because he's like, be quiet, He started like barking at me to be quiet and shut up, and then, and I asked if I should tell the patrol leader because I looked up to Gurney more. He told me no. So later I decided to take that upon myself to talk to the patrol leader when Gurney was gone. So again, I'm just enjoying playing this little, this new character, new recruit, fresh meat, in a military organization. So that's been a lot of fun. So we went to a tavern, and we got a message there, and our patrol leader Finn was taken back to this like barn area where these giant beetles were that that the mice basically use for like hard labor, like basically like working horses, but they're just giant beetles. So it's kind of neat the little setting details that are popping up throughout the course of play. But there was this like shady guy smoking a cigarette up in the loft, and he basically is like talking about like this powerful family. He didn't really say a name, but it had a sort of vibe of like a gangster family, criminal organization, that sort of thing. And you don't want to make waves with them. You want to do what you say you're going to do, and there was promise of financial reward if they just fill out their paperwork and go back to Lockhaven and say everything's fine here, the bear's gone, nothing to see here, that sort of thing. And the scout, which is Margaret, was basically just waiting outside, waiting for this character that Finn was supposed to meet. And she followed him basically back to the house of that family who had lost their entire crop. Very suspiciously suspicious family. Suspicious things were said there. So we're starting to put two and two together that yes, maybe the weasels had shown up and done something or taken the crop. And then Margaret then went out into the fields and investigated all the bear tracks. Well, none of the mice there had ever really seen a bear before. None of us had, because we're basically new recruits. And she found like tracks that were covered up very well underneath the bear tracks. So we kind of guessed that those are probably weasel tracks. So it kind of seemed like maybe this family got paid to trade with the weasels and go against the basically none of the mice trade with weasels. They're their natural enemies, but for financial gain, it seems like that's what they did. So we didn't really listen to this guy, and we kept looking into things the day after. We stayed at the inn, but during the night, my character was told to have the first watch, and then I was supposed to wake up Margaret for the second watch. Well, I want to prove myself. That's like one of my goals that I have. One of my bonds with the other characters is, I want to prove myself that I'm worthy. So I decided that I'm going to take both watches. So he has this little system where you mark a little tired box. Well, I was already tired, and I had to mark a second one because I stayed up all night long. I wanted to make sure that Margaret was fresh and rested, and I could prove myself to my my fellow people in the Mouse Guard. So very tired. But I was attacked. There was a sneaky little mouse that came up in the night and had a dagger, and I threw my spear at it. And you have options in this game about either getting hit or setting someone up for future, like a bonus or something. So basically, my character took the hit, stabbed at this mouse, and shoved him closer to Gurney so that Gurney could really get a good wallop on him. So we ended up killing that mouse. And there was another mouse while this was happening, was sneaking up through the back window and grabbed like Margaret and threw her against a wall. And then my character decided, what? Again, he's sort of like self-sacrificing. He ran at this other mouse and was going to like bull rush him right out the window. And that would have happened, except Margaret decided that she was going to sling a chair underneath my legs and sort of just trip me and get me off balance. And we sort of all just piled up on the floor and knocked ourselves out. So it was kind of like this little crazy pile of mice. It's kind of funny when you think about this all happening. These little tiny mice like hitting into each other and using swords, but it was a lot of fun. And so we realized that these boys were the boys that were missing from. I believe that their name was the Kelly family. That's the family that lost most of their crops. So we killed one. We trapped another one. And Gurney wanted to kill him. He has this like no mercy sort of belief. So we had to talk him down from killing one of these mice. So there's some good role playing there, like just trying to calm someone down. Someone else was like ready to flip out. We were sort of going back and forth on that. So that was a good time. Let's see what else happened here. We talked to the mayor about this and about the weasels and this family, and then also the trading family. I can't remember their name. Again, it was really hard to hear. And the mayor seemed innocent. My character thought the mayor was, dead to rights, guilty. But we watched him, talked to him, and questioned him, and he seemed like he really was just a puppet, didn't really know what was going on. So this criminal organization, this, crime family, trading family, must have been the one that partnered with the Kelly family, the one who lost their crop, and basically put the weasels and them together. That's kind of what we figured out. So let's see here. So we are going to investigate that crime family next. I believe it's the Roselin family. It's the last note I have here. So we're sort of going to pretend like we're going to leave this town of Redberry. We're going to leave and then circle back and then sort of watch the area around the Roselin trading crime family and see what they do. See if there's any interaction with weasels. See if they're doing anything with the scent border. It kind of seems like they might have just like messed it up just to make it look like a bear got through there. So it's just something to look into for the future. But yeah, I should be playing about once a month, so these won't be popping up all the time, but when they do, I'm sure you'll see it in your feed. Thanks for watching, and next time you'll hear what happens to Loonis, Margaret, Finn, and Gurney as we investigate this possible trading crime family in the setting of Mouse Guard. So, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.